The Utah Mammoth is sorta proud to present NASHCAST.
What the is a NASHCAST?
NASHCAST, the only hockey show on the planet. Hosted by a human speed bag, fourth line wannabe, healthy scratch, schnozzy moto, Tyson Nash.
Who the hell is Tyson Nash?
Never heard of him.
And the baritone with a brain, the velvet hammer, Mr. Silky, Tono Suave, the radio voice of your Utah Mammoth,
Code Blue!
Mike Folta.
Oh, Captain, my Captain!
NASHCAST begins now.
Ready for takeoff.
Here's Tyler Ganoush and Mickey Foghorn. Wait, what? Oh, here's Tyson Nash and Mike Folta.
Feeling good, folks. Holy brother. I know you're in Chicago, so don't rub it in. One of my favorite cities. What is it, the Miracle Mile? The shopping is endless, right? It's absolutely endless. So I always screw up the taping. When we're taping this, the games that are happening, I know you guys are getting ready for a back-to-back here, but folks, let me ask you, the team is rolling right now. Absolutely rolling. They had that big loss. What was it? Was it the Wild? No, they pumped the Wild. They had a big loss. I can't.
It was
remember
against
who
the
they lost
Hawks.
to.
It was against the Hawks.
Oh, the Hawks. Yeah, they got pumped, and then they have just tearing it up. Another level, full. So tell me what's going on, how you're doing, where you're at, and what's shaking and baking.
I'm great. I love coming to Chicago too. So there's going to be two games that have occurred between the taping and when this drops coming up here on Wednesday. Will be in Minneapolis tomorrow as we record on Tuesday. I'm going out of my mind trying to figure out where we're going to be and when the recordings drop, all that. But we're in Chicago right now. I love this city, and every time we've come to Chicago while I've been with Utah, it's just been the best weather. Like, it's sunny. It's like 70 degrees right now. The lake looks gorgeous. I got up early to see the sunrise coming up over the fresh water of Lake Michigan. Just incredible stuff. And you can get up early and do all that stuff, and the sunrises are beautiful when the team is rolling like it is right now. 3 wins on the road trip. Just had one of the games of the year against the Columbus Blue Jackets, a 5-4 overtime win with Logan Cooley, the overtime hero, giving a little shush to the crowd on the way out. You like that?
Which I love it, because that's not even him, right? Like, that's not even his personality, but you can just tell how jacked up the kid was, right?
Oh, he was so fired up. And it was his second of the game, too. He got denied on a breakaway early in the game and then scored on another breakaway and then had the overtime winner. So big night for Cools. How crazy is this, Tyson? If you take his numbers and extrapolate them, I want you to look that word up later. If you extrapolate them over an 82-game season, he would be on pace for 40 goals. How insane is that?
Yeah, I mean, again, right? Dylan Gunther, Logan Cooley, T.J. Ginla coming down the pipe. Clayton Keller already a rock star, you know? Nick Schmaltz, what's going to happen with him and his contract situation? But just the future is so bright for this hockey club. And I think you heard Bill with the trade deadline pulling the right triggers, right? Again, they go out and get Mackenzie Weegar. I thought that was a real good pickup, a much needed pickup. I thought they were going to try to do some more. Obviously, that didn't work out. That wasn't in the cards. I think it wasn't for a lack of trying, that's for sure. But again, you never want to wreck the future, you know, for today, right? Because it is about being good for the next 5, 10, 12 years under Bill Armstrong.
Yeah, and you gotta, I mean, Tyson, you ever play cards? Like, you gotta know when to fold them, right? You gotta know when to hold them. You gotta know when to fold them, know when to walk away. Like the asking price was too much, and you can't give away all your chips for just to play fantasy hockey and try to add guys. And there, I'm thinking of Robert Thomas, who was the big rumor, right? But it sounded like the price was too high, and the prospects are so good, you don't want to give them up. Bill made a great point talking to some friends on the radio. He said the Mammoth prospects are three of the league leaders in the CHL in terms of
Yeah.
points per game.
Every league, the Western League, the Ontario League, and the Quebec League. Their prospects, to your point, is tearing it up. And I mean tearing it up, not by just a small margin. I mean, like, what's TJ Ginla got? Like 72 points in 44 games or something ridiculous. So that guy is the real deal. They all are the real deal. So for the Robert Thomas situation, you got to know that, who the Blues wanted one of those pieces, right? Back in return for Robert Thomas. Robert Thomas is a great player. He's an unreal player, right? He's an 80-point guy, makes $8 million, which is going to be a bargain in this league as the cap continues to move up and climb. So, but the price, to your point, was just far too high. And it doesn't mean that you can't go out and get a player like that again in the offseason. But I think you're going to get the most possible when you're at the trade deadline, right? Because every GM's hungry, your team's right there in the playoffs. So you just, you squeeze a little harder, you give up a little bit more than I think you'd want to in normal circumstances.
And the team's rolling, like we said, too. So you're not as incentivized maybe to shake things up right now. Tyson, we had a kind of an interesting situation on Saturday. I don't know if you heard about this, but Mikhail Sergachev ended up missing the game due to injury, but it was last second. And so they had to bring in Nick DeSimone. He didn't even take warm-ups. He got to the game like 20 minutes before, and Dave Zanovi, our trainer, was like, "Hey, Nick, put your gear on. You're going." And Nick's like, "Get out of here."
He's been shopping all day or wherever, right?
Have you ever seen that, or has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, it has. And I wasn't a healthy scratch a lot. Like I really wasn't, but it happened to a couple of my teammates, a couple different circumstances, right? It's like, okay, you're not playing the next night. The team won the game before. You've been a healthy scratch. So maybe you get your foot a little harder on the gas pedal, right? You get your foot on the gas the night before. You're having some cocktails because you're not playing. You just got to get through the morning skate, the bag skate, and then you can have a big fat nap in the afternoon. But I've seen some guys where it's been like last minute, like, hey, you actually have to play today. And you're just hung to the gills, right? Like you can barely see straight. You're popping Advil and Tylenol and Sudafeds to get fired up. But it happens more than you'd think, for sure.
That was funny to hear. And Nick played a great game, had himself an assist, and it sounded like the guys were having some fun with him. But we did also see Mackenzie Weegar. Should touch on him. Tyson, real versatile piece, guy who can stand up for his teammates, good in all three zones. And he led the team in ice time his very first game. Didn't even take morning skate, but led the team in ice time that first game against Columbus. I thought he looked really good, Tyson, and that it's not an easy thing to come in and be thrown into the fire like that.
No, the travel, the emotions of it all, right? He'd been in Calgary, and these players, they become like family, right? And it's not just as easy, that's the shitty part of the business, right? Is that you are sometimes treated like a piece of meat, right? And all of a sudden you're out of one locker room, one family, or have team dinners, you're hanging out and, bonding, and now you're on a different team, 24 hours later. So not an easy thing to go through, but that just shows what a true pro he is, right? Yeah. A great veteran in this league and just a wonderful piece for Andre Tourigny and this group moving forward. He's got years on his contract, so it's not just a one and done as well, but another massive piece. And when you get to the playoffs, you get to the Stanley Cup Finals, it's all about your back end and your blue line. It's one of the most important things besides the goaltender is your defensive core, and it just continues to grow and get better and better here.
Yeah, exciting stuff from Utah on that front to see their addition make such a big impact right away. Tyson, just kind of going back through the trade deadline. I know it happened a couple days ago now, last week, but any moves that you saw that surprised you? We had the big one with John Carlson going from Washington to Anaheim. I'm pulling up a list here. The Foligno brothers playing together now. Edmonton Oilers made a couple of moves, but what stood out to you?
I think that Carlson was a big one for me. It sounded like it was a big one for a lot of people in that Caps locker room. Yeah. I was surprised that there wasn't more moves. I mean, that's what I was surprised at, right? So the asking price, I think, as we just talked about, must have been real high. And the pressure, maybe just GMs realizing like we can't sell the farm in the future for one crack for one team that actually gets to hoist and win the Stanley Cup, right? I mean, and I think that's Bill's method as well. Like we can't sell the farm right now to just get into the playoffs, right? Because I think they're fooling themselves. I don't think they think this at all, but I don't think they're Stanley Cup worthy right now, right? Even if they got it, I don't think they're thinking they're going to win a Stanley Cup. So they're not there yet. But in a couple of years, my God, that's when you're going to see the GM and Bill Armstrong really pulling the triggers. Kadri was a big one for me. I thought that was the biggest one by far. Going back to Colorado, I mean, how about that well-oiled machine? If they, already they're a dominant team, certainly the Stanley Cup favorites, but now you add Kadri. This guy is just a competitor.
Yeah, down the middle, you got Nathan McKinnon, Brock Nelson, and Nazem Kadri. That's a pretty lethal spine up front to a team that was already.
I like that spine.
Already the head and shoulders class of the NHL. So a super team forming a team that the Mammoth could potentially see in the first round of the playoffs, depending on how things fall. We also got to see Tyson just mentioned Nick Foligno getting traded to Minnesota to play with his brother Marcus. Just traded him for future considerations, right? And how cool is that from the hockey world, from Kyle Davidson and Bill Guerin and the GMs of the Hawks and the Wild, to get that done and unite those brothers?
Yeah, I think it's unreal on a few different forms. First of all, Foligno is a huge addition. I mean, like literally, right? I mean, he's the type of player that when you get into the playoffs, oh my God, and you wonder how many years and how many what's left in the tank for a guy like that also. So that once he gets into the playoffs, this might be one of his last kicks at the can. So he is going to lay it all out, empty the tank every night. Great addition. And you get a chance to play with family. I mean, you're seeing it more and more, right? I mean, the Hughes brothers, how cool that was. Braden Shen, Luke Shen, both got traded at the deadline as well. So still very valuable pieces. Braden Shen is going to be a massive addition to the Islanders. He's going to help out in a big way. Weaker division. So that's a real nice piece. And then Luke Shen, this guy, it just shows that every team is still looking for that big, heavy, stay-at-home, shot-blocking defenseman, because when it comes to playoff time, those guys matter.
Yeah, Buffalo Sabres making a ton of moves. Did you, by chance, catch any of the game on Saturday? No, on Sunday, between Buffalo and Tampa Bay?
I did. I loved every minute of it. That's as old school as you're going to get, right? I mean, it's all over social media, everywhere today. That actually happened last night in my world as we tape this, but that is just old school hockey. And I love the fact that the Buffalo Sabres, I mean, they have a heartbeat again. I mean, Craig Adams could go down. Is it Craig? No, Kevin Adams. Kevin Adams could be the GM of the year this year. And he's not even in the league. Like, he got fired. And there hasn't been a lot of, movement. I mean, besides them in the standings, right? It's not like they pulled the trigger on a bunch of trades, and that's why they're doing well. I mean, these are all moves that were made under Kevin Adams. So kind of feel sorry for him in a way, even though I used to chase that guy around the ice all the time. I wanted to fight him so bad back in the day. Oh, God. But
it's remarkable. And seeing fans like walk out of the building, there were a bunch of videos posted of Sabres fans walking out of the building and chanting, "Let's go Buffalo," stuff like that.
Haven't heard that in a while.
They're losing their minds. They're losing their minds. They took over the top spot in the Atlantic Division, which you look at the teams in that division, it's a murderer's row.
Yeah.
Now, I know Toronto and Florida have had down years, but still, you look at that division, and I don't think anybody with a straight face can tell me at the start of the year they would have had the Buffalo Sabres leading the Atlantic Division in the month of March. It's one of the best stories in the game right now.
Yeah. There is a bunch of Buffalo Sabres fans somewhere that put $100 down on this bet, right?
These guys are psychos.
On what is happening today with the Buffalo Sabres. Has it been 14 or 16 years since they last made the playoff?
I think it's 14.
I mean, that is just nuts how long that is. I think I heard last night Detroit was 10 years, I believe. Like long ass time.
Is Lindy Ruff in the running for coach of the year?
Has to be, doesn't he?
Furnace face. There's so many, like Quenneville and Anaheim, right? Even Warsofsky, San Jose, they were a lottery team a year ago. Dan Muse in Pittsburgh, everybody had them penciled in near the bottom. I mean, you can go down the list. There's a ton of great stories, and the Sabres are right there in the middle of it.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. And that is a hockey town. I played just down the road in Syracuse, New York. So Buffalo, it's a lot of shades of gray. Gotham City in ways, but are they a sports town? I mean, I just had Matthew Barnaby as a co-host on our show, and we hung out a lot over that 4 or 5 days, and he just loves Buffalo, lives and breathes it. He's pretty hard on the team and what's gone on for the last 15, 16 years, but he is the biggest fan of the people in Buffalo and just how passionate they are. So another great story around the National Hockey League, but I'll tell you what, I still love our Utah Mammoth, buddy. And I love this next guest, obviously, Jeremy Roenick. He's been on the show before, the biggest personality in my mind that's ever played in the National Hockey League. We caught him on a beach in San Diego, I believe. I thought it was a nude beach there for a second, but thank God Jared kept his shirt on in this one. But love to have him, and my co-host, because we couldn't have you, Foltz, Mike Weir. And again, Mike Weir, if you're a golf fan, you grew up in Canada, unless you grew up under a rock, you knew who Mike Weir was, one of the best golfers, a guy who has set the bar for golf in Canada. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. Jeremy Roenick and Mike Weir and myself. That's right. We have Mike Weir, 2003 Masters champion. Mike, let's get right out here, buddy.
Okay, buddy.
This guy is a season ticket holder,
Thanks,
Utah Mammoth, buddy.
Yeah. Good to be with you.
Welcome.
Thank
We're going to
you.
have a ton of fun here tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited.
But huge win the other night. You were at the game. You were cheering loud and clear, chugging some beers, all the good stuff. But how much fun has it been having the Utah Mammoth in your town? You went to BYU. You never left.
Yeah, I love it here in Utah, and I've always been a big hockey guy, and when the team came here a couple of years ago, I was super excited, and yeah, the other night they looked great. I mean, they were clicking on all cylinders. Boys are getting healthy. They're ready for a good stretch run.
You talked about Karel Vejmelka before the show here tonight, before you went on the pregame show, right? Warming things up, but tell me about Karel Vejmelka. How much has he impressed you?
Yeah, he's been rock solid, and they're going to have to ride him here towards the end of the season. And yeah, he's just so solid. Night in, night out, gives the team a chance to win.
Tiger Woods put this baby on you. It still never gets old, right?
No,
I mean,
no. I wish I had it. It stays at Augusta, so
I can't believe that.
The only time I get to put it on is when I'm actually on site. So it's, but never gets old when you get to slip it on.
I'm representing tonight. I'll tell you what. This thing's a little wrinkled. I think it was in a trash can. We pulled it out of $12 on Amazon, but we're rocking and rolling. And that game again the other night against the Wild, a good team. Does this team ever stop surprising you as a season ticket holder?
No, I mean, I think they just keep kind of rebound. I think when the injuries happened and it looked like they had a little slide there, I was a little bit worried because they were in a bit of a funk, and some of the best players were out, and they just, that just goes to show that the culture and the coaching, and they're able to find a way to win and kind of right the ship, and now they're in a good position. They're healthy and coming on strong, and so excited for the rest of the year.
We've both been in the U.S. for a long time, but you took in the Olympics. I know it. You're a huge hockey fan, but our team lost. Are you still licking your wounds?
I am. That one stung because they played great. Connor Hellebuck stole the game really, and that's sports, right? Sometimes the best teams, like in golf, sometimes you can ball strike it to death. You can hit fairway after fairway and greens, and you're just kind of burning edges and putts, and another guy might chip a couple in and wins the tournament, and you feel like you played a lot better. And that's kind of like Team Canada. It's like they played great, but they didn't get the result. And hats off to the U.S. They found a way to get it done.
I mean, that silver medal, it's like kissing your sister.
Totally.
Right? I mean, you can see
Totally.
the look on their
Yeah.
faces. This is
Especially when they got that
absolutely-
little.
Oh yeah, the beanie,
the
baby.
beanie, like,
I'm
what-
like, what
what
is
is
this?
this?
How many
You
of them wanted to rip the head off of that
Oh,
thing?
totally.
Especially McKinnon. McKinnon
Totally.
was so pissed.
Totally, you could just see the look on their face.
I
there,
love it, but they missed this guy. They
yeah.
missed this guy in that
Oh, no
game.
doubt.
How things might have been different, but as you
No
said,
doubt.
badly outplayed Team USA. But
Yeah.
the story, I mean, you love the story. We're going to talk a lot about that, I think, on the show here tonight.
Yeah.
You couldn't write a better script. The Johnny Gaudreau,
Yeah.
the goal by Jack Hughes,
Yeah.
the missing teeth,
Yeah.
you know, just all of it, right?
Yeah, totally. He's a hockey kid, that's for sure. That young man, and it was a great story to see them honor Johnny Gaudreau and his family there after the game.
Oh yeah, I was literally
Yeah.
crying when they went out and I was blubbering on the couch
Yeah.
watching this. I'm Canadian, but I've lived in the U.S. for so long.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of a turncoat, I think you'd call me right now, because I do love America.
Yeah.
I love what it represents, and I'll tell you what, these guys, what a brotherhood they
Yeah.
have, and just the respect for Johnny Gaudreau right there. The two kids
Yeah.
in the picture was something special.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. That hockey, when you're playing for your country, we saw it with the Four Nations the year before. It's just a different level. They just seem the intensity. It just ramps up such a different level. So we'll be excited when this comes around again. Maybe there'll be. I'm not sure if there's another World Cup or Four Nations Cup, but yeah, maybe the Russians will be back too. It's
Right.
always good when the Russians are playing too in these big tournaments.
Yeah.
So hopefully those guys will be back too, and Canada's looking good with some of these young guys.
I know.
In a few years they'll
know.
be right there again.
All right, we're going to take a seat. We're going to
Okay.
talk more hockey.
Okay.
We got our first guest coming on real soon. We were scheduled for Pat Maroon, 3-time Stanley Cup
Yeah.
champion.
That's not happening?
Dropped the ball a little bit,
Okay.
so I apologize. All the people watching at home. Pat is very apologetic. He's blowing up my phone right now. Pat, we hear you. We'll have you on once again. I know I was looking forward to it. I know
Yeah.
I'm sure you researched him a little bit.
I did.
Know a lot about his career.
Yeah, great player. Obviously in Tampa there, winning the cups, and I was going to ask him about the culture there. That
Right.
I was a Red Wings guy and Steve Yzerman and the culture that he started down there.
Are we going to be
in
hearing
Tampa.
about Steve Yzerman's
Well,
stories
yeah,
all night?
I might.
Sarnia boy.
Might pop it in a few times.
Sarnia boy, I thought he'd be a Toronto
Yeah.
fan, but how come not Toronto?
Sarnia is an interesting place. Back when I was growing up, we didn't have streaming services and all the
Right.
things, so we got all the Detroit network TV. So all the Detroit Tigers, the Lions, the Red Wings, and from Sarnia, we had Dino Ciccarelli, who played for the
Oh,
Wings,
right.
and Paul Eisebart,
Oh, was he any good?
Sean Burr,
Yeah.
names you probably know. And so I have an older brother that's 10 years older than me, and played hockey and knew those guys. So. That's kind of how in our household, the Red Wings became the team.
So you liked all the Detroit teams?
Yeah, still.
Wow.
Still.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Well, what do you know about the Hawks?
I don't know much about the Hawks. I know, they're a young team. They obviously got a superstar in Connor Bedard, and he's back from some injuries. And I know this is a win we kind of have to get. A team that's
Yes.
a little bit down this year. We got to get these wins, especially at home. On this tough stretch, playing Colorado, Minnesota, and then getting this game. And afternoon games, I mean, you probably speak to it more than I can, but the afternoon game is probably a little bit tricky. We're creatures of habit. Playing at night, you're out of your. So how'd you deal with that? Like when an afternoon game, was it you don't get your afternoon nap before
Right.
the game, and your meals are off and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you hope, right, that you have a good sleep, because
Yeah.
I always look forward to the afternoon nap. That was the biggest thing, the big pregame meal, the afternoon nap. But I loved afternoon games because you look around this crowd here tonight at the DC Delta Center, and it's all kids. All the kids are in the house, right? Because there's
point.
no school the next day,
Yeah.
right? They got their jerseys on. They're hockey fans, and
Yeah.
when you're a player, you love to see the passion. And I think the big thing for me is what that game, Team Canada, Team USA, did for the kids, right?
Yeah.
The women. All the kids are going to be going out
Yeah,
and pretending
totally.
that they're Jack Hughes and Quinn Hughes and the
Yep.
Kachuk brothers, right?
Yep.
Hopefully, we need more Kachuk brothers in the house. I can tell you that. But
Those
that's
guys are
what I'm
tough to play
excited.
against, I'm sure.
Aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are something else.
Yep.
Well, I can't wait to see Connor Bedard here tonight. You have to think that he's a little pissed off, right? That he wasn't part
Yeah.
of Celebrini. He was part of it, but obviously Bedard got left off the list.
Yeah, and they they've got so much talent up there in Canada. It's got, Doug Armstrong's a good friend of mine. He's
Oh,
another Sarnia guy.
Is he really?
Yeah,
he lives just down the street from me.
Yeah, does he really?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Doug Armstrong. Yeah.
Dougie. So, he was obviously Team Canada's GM and good friend. So, I mean, he had so many guys to choose from, and those are always tough decisions when you're leaving guys off the roster. And I had to deal with that somewhat myself with that President's Cup. There's guys that you want on the team, and for whatever reason you got to pick 12 of them, right? And there's guys that you wish.
What
they
are
could have
those
been
phone
on
calls like that you
They're the
have
worst.
to make? Yeah.
That's the worst. That's the worst thing. For me, the worst one was Nick Taylor. Nick is a great player, and he was just in a bit of a funk at that time of the year.
Right.
And if you're picking a team that was playing like a full season, obviously Nick would be on it. But when you're picking a team that's just for that 1 week, you want guys that are really playing well and clicking on all cylinders. And so that was super hard for me because I really wanted him on the team, and there was a couple others as well. But those phone calls are not fun.
Oh, yeah. We just showed your Tiger Woods. We talked about it a little bit. We talked about when you were on the show as a guest. Now you're co-host with me. Thank you, by the way.
Oh,
This is a huge honor. I was the biggest Mike Weir fan on the planet, literally on the planet. But again, I mean, Tiger Woods, I know he was talking to you in this picture, whispering something in your ear, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah. He was whispering some things that probably I won't say on air. Like, you know what.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not too often you get one up on Tiger, so you got to give it back to him once in a while when you beat him, because it doesn't happen very often. So we always had great banter back and forth, and loved playing with him. I always seemed to come up, raise my level most of the time. Sometimes I didn't, but I think it just brings out intensity and a focus. It's just like probably when these guys are playing Colorado Avalanche and like Minnesota, the best teams or the defending Stanley Cup champs like Florida, you want to beat those guys, right? And you get the intensity up. So that's, when you play with Tiger, all the guys, everybody you talk to, play with them, you just want to bring your best stuff.
Well, and the individual player itself, right? You want to compete. You don't want to embarrass yourself, right? When you go out there. But how intimidating is that playing against a guy like Tiger, knowing he's piping it down the middle every time?
Yeah, I mean, Tiger was such a he was a phenomenal athlete, and he was one of the first guys that probably hit the ball like super long, and he could overpower golf courses where that wasn't my game. So I had to just kind of sit back. I'd hit my little pea shooter down the middle of the fairway. Yeah, hit it down there and hopefully get it in the fairway, and he's 40 yards past you. So that's always a thing as a golfer, that you're that mental game of like, I tried to play where, okay, I might be hitting first into the green, but if I can hit a really solid shot into the green, that puts a little bit more pressure on the other guy, especially in match play, that does. So, but basically in golf, you're just kind of trying to get locked in your own little world and your own game. But still, the Tiger factor's there, just mainly the crowd. The crowd's there to see him.
Right.
And so they're really not watching you that much. So there's a lot of movement, for the other players when you're playing with Tiger, because they're running up to get in position to see his next shot.
Right.
And you might be settling into your shot, and everybody's hooting and hollering and yelling.
And everyone's making a move to watch.
His
They're
next
walking
shot, right?
40 yards past you up the Tiger's ball.
Totally.
Did you like the crowds? I mean, the bigger the crowd, the better you'd play?
I think so. I think at my best, I would say that, that stuff kind of tuned out. But it took a while to get used to. Generally kind of a shy person, so playing in front of a big crowd, that took a while for me to get used to. So I didn't really hit my stride till I was in my late 20s, early 30s.
Oh, no way.
Where I think the young players today are well more equipped, and they're better, and they're used to that a little bit more. And so I kind of was a late bloomer. With that stuff, but yeah, it was fun.
So when you're a late bloomer, I mean, obviously you got to stay confident. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting kicked around when you're younger.
Yeah.
Losing that confidence, you really have to kind of believe in yourself, right?
You do. You have to, for me, it was like a slow, steady progress. I mean, my college golf career, I was pretty good as a freshman, got a little better as a sophomore, junior, senior, I was pretty good. And the same thing kind of happened in pro golf for me. I wasn't, I was kind of an average mini tour player, and kind of chipped away and honed my strengths, but worked on my weaknesses and started to make those better. And so it took me a few years to kind of, be good enough to be a PGA Tour player. I was a pro, but I wasn't a PGA Tour player yet. and that took me till my, mid to late 20s. And then there's another level of becoming, a contender in tournaments and trying to win tournaments. And then another level of trying to get into major championships and contend in those. So it was like a whole evolution. In my time, there was, Phil Mickelson and maybe Justin Leonard, who right out of college were ready for that.
Right.
There wasn't many guys. Like maybe today, there's more guys. Colin Morikawa comes out on tour and wins a couple majors within the first couple years. I mean, that stuff's a little bit more common now, but it wasn't in my era.
It's kind of like our game. I mean, you're seeing when I broke into the league, I mean, you didn't make it till you were 23, 24 years old.
Yeah.
22 if you were really good, right? Because you needed that man strength. You needed all those intangibles that these young 18 and 19-year-old kids, like the Gunthers and the Coolies, they step right in at a young age and have an impact, right?
Yeah. You see, I was around the Montreal Canadiens a little bit with the President's Cup, Cole Caulfield, and this Lane Hudson, and these guys, like 19, 20, right, making an impact right away. And like you said, it's different. I think the athletes, we're just coached better, trained better. We had to kind of figure it out on our own, maybe a little bit more.
We used to come to training camp to get into shape, right? Now it's like a year-long process. Nutrition, strength coach, mental coaches. I mean, they all got chefs. I mean, we were drinking beers. That was how we put the carbs back in our body, was having a couple beers on the plane after the game. Although my first year, we flew commercial everywhere, right? So how do the golfers travel typically? Are you guys commercial? Are you guys flying,
most guys,
sharing private planes?
I think a lot of the guys, there's so many guys that live in Florida that they probably share some, flight time on private planes and stuff. I've done a little bit of that, maybe when I was playing on the PGA Tour, but I'm a Delta guy. Just fly. Delta,
right here, Delta Center, baby.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I think, the nutrition and stuff is really played a big role. I think the old school guys, after a round of golf, playing cards and sitting around having drinks is long gone now.
Is it really?
Yeah. I mean, some guys will sit around and have a beer or something, but it's mostly guys they're out of there. They're with their families and they're trying to get good food.
So you
they're
guys
trying
bring
to get
your families
rest.
with you on a lot of trips?
A lot of times, yeah. A lot of guys do. And then when the kids get school age, obviously,
you better make
like
the cut
you guys.
then. That gets expensive.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's the one thing with golf, right? Like, there's no guarantees. You miss the cut, you get zero, and you've had to pay all your expenses. You still got to pay your caddy. You're out of pocket probably anywhere from $7 to $10 grand a week with all in. So it's you see the glitz and glamour of the top guys, but there's a lot of guys out there that are struggling to make a living out there. Even as a PGA Tour player, it can be a challenge. You miss a bunch of cuts out there, and you're a rookie, and you're not seeing income come in. You don't have big sponsors. You can get in a hole.
Right. How about the Live Tour coming in, obviously changing things dramatically for the better for the PGA Tour, right? You guys, the guys are making more money. I think the pensions are better. I think is there a minimum, like a guaranteed minimum now for these young players?
I think there is. I'm a little out of the loop on the tour, but I think there is like a minimum now that if you get your PGA Tour card, they cover. I don't know what the number is, but let's say it's $50,000 for the year or something like that to help guys with their flights and expenses and stuff. Or maybe before Live that wasn't there. And there's a changing within the PGA Tour. We have a new commissioner. There's new things going on within the tour, and I'm not up to speed on all that. But I think in the end there could be some good things. I'm just as a player that was kind of like as a rookie and not getting in big events and work my way up. You want those playing opportunities for the players. So I hope that doesn't go away, that it doesn't become just an elite tour for the best players. We want to showcase the best players and bring them together, which I understand that, but I hope they're not losing playing opportunities for guys that are trying to work their way up the ranks.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that Live Tour, it was crazy. I mean, the money that they were dishing out, it's hard to say no to that, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're later in your career, like a Dustin Johnson or, so.
Yeah.
Well, we got a Nash crasher. We don't have Pat Maroon, but we have someone maybe better. He wanted to say hello to you, and we had him on the show before. This is a Hall of Famer, folks. Hall of Famer.
Okay. Who do we
got?
My
good buddy. Absolutely love this guy. Look at it. We got JR, Jeremy Roenick in the house.
Jeremy Roenick.
Brother.
What's up?
What's up, Jeremy?
Nashy, what's up? I heard I heard you had Weirzy on today. I said, there's no way I can't crash this little this watch cast, right, without celebrating the first week of international hockey dominance gold medal win last week.
Here we go.
Right?
Here
Yes. So no better way to celebrate the first week of gold medal with Mike Weir and my buddy Nashy. What's up, boys?
Where are you, JR? Holy cow. Are you in the water somewhere?
It looks like somewhere warm, that's for sure.
Hey, see, this is what happens when you get inducted to the Hall of Fame and then you do good things. You get to live on the beach. So I'm taking a little hike, a little walk on the beach, and
oh, perfect.
Now I'm watching, two of my favorite teams, Utah and Chicago. It's awesome. Hey, Weirzy, you know how I feel today about winning the gold medal last week? I feel like you felt when you won the Masters, right, for that first week.
Right.
So thanks for giving us one, man. Thanks for giving us one and making us feel a little bit good in the USA.
No, it was cool. I mean that international hockey. Obviously, you were part of that stuff. It's just so fun to watch. And I was actually over in Africa, and we were trying to find it on this TV, and we scrapped it. We ended up watching on my wife's little computer, and we were all huddled around this little computer, my kids and my wife, and it's just such awesome hockey to watch.
Wasn't it unbelievable? It was one of the best games I've ever seen, and obviously Canada was the better team. I mean, that's not beat around the bush. Everybody knows who dominated that team, but we had the better goaltender. I think Hellebuck played the best game that he's ever played and probably will ever play. It was a game of a lifetime, and that's what happens. That's what happens.
Yeah, that's sport, right? Jeremy, we were talking about that earlier. It's just, I was relaying it to golf. Sometimes you play with someone who just stripes it down the middle, hits iron shots close to the hole, but can't buy a putt. And someone maybe doesn't hit as good, and they chip it in. They're making putts from everywhere, and they win. I mean, that's just that's the way it happens.
I don't know how it is in golf for you guys, but it just seems like it's bound to happen, almost like it's destiny, right? Even like it's, again, you get it on the green, but they're not makeable putts, but all of a sudden you're draining long putt after long putt. And the same thing with last week, right? It's like you can't do anything wrong. And with McKinnon missing an empty net, Devon Taves missing an empty net, you have Celebrini missing a breakaway, you have McDavid missing a breakaway. It was just like it was like meant to be for us, and it was one of those really cool moments in American sports, and we needed it. 46 years, and not to mention we're kind of in the change of this hockey, kind of the decades, right? We need this generation to see something great like that, because I'm telling you. There is how many kids went to learn to skate this week that their parents went to learn to skate?
Yeah, that's true.
So, right?
That's true.
How about the women too, JR? I mean, women, they win. Every little girl is the same thing. Learn to skate, all of it. I mean, what it's done for hockey in America is incredible.
Nashy, I'm glad you said that, because that's one of the first things that I say. This U.S. women's team was the best, most talented, well-coached women's team in the history, I think, of hockey. Not just USA hockey. I think in all of hockey. If you saw the way that they dominated that tournament, and the way that they skated, how talented they were, how fast they were, how they moved the puck. You're right. And now there's a women's pro league with the WPHL, with the PWHL. I mean, like all these little girls now, all these young women are going to strive to play in the Olympics and play pro hockey, which I think is fantastic. It's awesome. Yeah. By the way, Weirzy, how's your game? Well, now you're on the second half, right? You're on the back nine with me.
I am on the back nine. Yep. I'm on the Champions Tour, aka the Senior Tour.
No, we don't do seniors anymore. It's just champions. You're a champion with me. You're a champion with everybody, Weirzy. You know that.
No, it's okay. I played one event in Hawaii, and then I've been off for a little bit. So we start in Tucson, or I start back up in Tucson in about 3 weeks, and then I'll start ramping it up a little bit here. But get to hang out with Tyson here and hit a few balls today. The weather's pretty good in Utah, so I hit a few balls this morning, kind of getting the game ready, and
Well, listen, if I know you're sitting in probably your second favorite booth ever, besides watching golf, watching hockey. Yep. This is it's a lot of this season is unbelievable. It's going to be a great push. This Mammoth team, I'll tell you what, there's something to watch, and to be on the brink of the playoffs right now, and have a shot at that playoff spot, man. You guys must be having a lot of fun watching this game today.
Yeah, the team's exciting to watch. They're fast, and it's fun to see these young guys really stepping up, and we'll see this nice stretch run here they have.
JR, I gotta ask you, buddy, like the interview, Jack Hughes, how organic that was. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I'm Canadian, but I'm telling you what, I'm turning. You can call me a turncoat. I love this country. I love America. But I'll tell you what, the brotherhood that those guys had, I mean, that interview, you were mentioned. I think, didn't McAvoy call you from the airplane?
Yep.
I mean, and
Yep.
rightfully so.
Yep.
One of the things he mentioned was the guys that paved the way before us. I mean, the respect. How good did that feel?
I cried. I cried. I cried when we won. I cried watching Jack Eichel's interview. I cried watching Jack Hughes' interview. I cried when I'm literally sitting in my house and my phone goes off. It's a FaceTime, and it's Charlie McAvoy on Air Force 2 heading to Washington. And they,
Wow.
Dylan Larkin saying, JR, you paved the way for us. Thank you, man. We did it for you guys. And, you guys are our idols. And I literally, tears coming down my eyes again. It was like the respect that these guys have. And it should be it's no surprise to us, Nashy, because we know hockey guys and what they're like. They're very, very humble and respectful. They love their country. They love their city, their team, their teammates. And they were just the epitome of class. It's too bad that we had to come back to stupid mainstream media who are a bunch of haters that only want something negative to kind of bring down their celebration and kind of hate on America. Shame on the mainstream media. Shame on the liberal left. You can't celebrate anything good right now in the world for them. And we just shoved the boot right into their backside. It's great.
How about the parties? I know you partied probably harder than anyone back in the day, but didn't you love it? I was so proud of them. They're in Miami blowing the roof off that place, as they should be.
Listen, I think in the last few years, when Washington won the Stanley Cup, you saw Ovi in Washington kind of remodel what championship celebrations should be about, jumping into fountains and drinking like crazy. The amount of beer that's consumed. And, the Florida Panthers did it last year. Obviously, you saw some of theirs. But you got to celebrate America. And, to celebrate the way they did, they celebrate it with class. They're in a nightclub singing the national anthem.
Oh.
Bro, listen, hey, listen, let's not get too crazy. We did celebrate better back in the day. There's no question.
And there was no cameras.
There was no, it's right. There's no social media to ruin our social lives.
Right.
Right?
That's classic.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff,
JR,
guys.
what was Herb Brooks like? I mean, obviously the guy's got statues. I mean, it must have been incredible.
He was one of the classiest guys and one of the most brilliant hockey minds that I've ever seen behind a bench. His ability to coach with a firm fist, but also pat in the back and make you feel good, make you feel confident, give you a lot of positive reinforcement. But he knew exactly what button to push all the time. And for us who love 1980. And watch Miracle and watch, all these movies on the team and watch him coach there. And for me to be able to be on the bench in front of him in Salt Lake was absolutely spectacular. It was, that city that the Mammoth play in right now has a big, big spot in my heart. And I got to share it with one of the best coaches in the history of the game.
The heartache of, losing, right? You guys were there. We every once in a while, we give you one, right? It took you 46 years. I'm just glad we're not talking about the miracle anymore. We can finally have a sequel to that. But
we needed it. We were so due, Nash. You were so due. And I tell you what, I got to be honest. I did not feel bad for one of those Canadians standing on that red carpet getting the silver medal.
Hey, come on.
And the Beanie Baby.
It felt so good. I've been there. I know what that feeling is like. I know what it's, and by the way, the Olympics have to get away from giving out that squishy or whatever that animal is afterwards. I can guarantee you that squishy didn't make it to the locker room by any of those players.
Yeah.
There was
No
a
way.
couple garbage cans full of
Yeah.
McKinnon.
full of squishies.
Oh, McKinnon was an absolute savage. He looked at that thing like,
Yeah.
what the hell is
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, hockey players do not cry over stuffed animals when they lose. They don't
Yeah.
do it.
I love it. Where's it? I got to ask you, what's scarier? Amen corner
Yeah.
or watching JR read a yardage card?
Read. Hold on a second. Read. There's no reading going on in my game. It's like,
Are you
it's
saying
like this. It's like,
JR can't he can't caddy
it
for me
looks
and
like
read a yardage book?
150. It looks like 150. That's what it looks
Right.
like.
You play by feel, JR, not numbers, right?
That's it. Exactly. That's how I played the game on the ice, and that's the way I play on the course. Actually, my game's pretty good, Weir. So you'd be pretty proud of me right now. So
It's
You know,
funny,
when you're
hockey
out
guys,
there-
it translates to golf, doesn't it? Like, you know, the motion of a like
Some guys.
Some guys.
yeah,
Like, you know.
yeah. I mean, it's a very eye-hand coordination kind
Yeah.
of timing, right? Your timing, your turn.
Yeah.
Obviously, the seasons coincide. For a lot of us, we should feel really comfortable standing over a ball, not knowing that no one's trying to take our head off before we hit it. So that's
Right.
always a good thing too. But it is there is a piece about it that I think really translates a lot to hockey. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good time. Except for Nashi. Nashi squeezes the crap out of the club.
He
and
tells me
tries to hit
that.
it, but-
I haven't seen his action yet, but he tells me it's not great.
I like to. I
Well,
play
just
army
look at
golf.
him.
Left, right, left.
Just
JR knows.
look at him. He's got muscles coming all out of him. He can't help but try to squeeze the hell out of the club and hit as far as he can. You know?
JR.
It's not a barbell. It's not a barbell, Nash. It's a golf ball.
Right.
The golf ball's your friend, is what you're saying?
Exactly.
JR, I know you played with Big Walt, and we talked about this last time you were on the show. I mean, legitimately, over 500 goals. You just made the Hall of Fame. If nothing else, Big Walt should make the Hall of Fame just for having Matthew and Brady Tkachuk, right? I mean, my goodness.
For his gift, they say, what's your gift to hockey? What kind of presents did you have on hockey? He gave us Matthew and Brady. That's what he did. Listen, there's no surprise what I feel about Keith Tkachuk. He's one of my favorite teammates of all time, probably one of the best captains of all time. The way that he treated people, the way he treated the trainers, the way that he led by example. He led with a firm fist, and he did it by example. There is no question in my mind, without question, that Keith Tkachuk is a Hall of Famer. And I think, guys, if I was a betting man, you might hear his name be called in June this year. Wow. I know. Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
I know there's some rumblings going on. There's some conversation about Walt this year, so I'm going to keep my fingers crossed because I'll cry again if Big Walt gets in the Hall of Fame this year.
Oh, you'll be right there with him. I can tell you. I can tell you that. JR,
100%.
I know you got the biggest personality in the game. You have played golf, I'm sure, with some huge personalities. But give me your dream foursome. Who are you playing with?
Dream foursome. This is always like the question that everybody asks, right? So, I have played with some of the great guys. I played with Jordan. I've played with Trump. I've played with, one guy that I wish I could have played with in his heyday was Eastwood, Clint Eastwood. I would have loved to have been able to hang out with that guy. He's a big guy, big Pebble Beach guy. He's lived up there.
Yep.
He got Tehama, the golf course up there in Tehama, which he's a part of. I just would have loved. How about him and Ronald Reagan? That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
And even though I'm a Republican, I think it would have been pretty cool to meet JFK back in the day. Was he a golfer? That'd be pretty good.
Oh yeah, you're not on a nude
How
beach
about
there,
Blue
are you?
Eyes? How about old Blue Eyes? How old Blue Eyes? I would love to hear some stories from Frank Sinatra back in the day. That would be an amazing foursome.
Those are some good names right there. I was
Yeah.
thinking maybe
That's the
Arnold
best I can
Palmer
give
or
you.
Jack or something, but he went.
Oh, we're showing a picture right
President.
now of you and Justin
I've played
Timberlake.
with Tiger. I've played with Tiger.
Oh,
So that's a funny story with Arnold. The day I met him was down at Bay Hill, and that was the day that I tried to jump on one of the alligators on the fifth hole. The fifth hole, the big par five
Yeah.
going left.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I tried to jump on the alligator, and I had his tail. He got away. But anyway, we got into the clubhouse, and we're sitting in the men's grill having a couple iced teas after the round, and in comes Arnold Palmer into the men's grill, and he sits down with us, and we're like, oh my God! I'm like, that's Mr. Palmer, and he looks across at me, and he goes, hey, hockey boy. He called me hockey boy. He goes, hey, hockey boy, will you leave my alligators alone out there? They're scared shit right now. I was like,
That's great.
I'm like, yeah, yes, sir, Mr. Palmer. Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I apologize. And he started laughing. He goes, you're a crazy SOB, aren't you? I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess so.
yeah, you are.
That was my only interaction with Mr. Palmer.
He's the best. He's the best.
JR, where are you right now? Are you in San Diego or what? Is that a new beach?
In San Diego. Look at how nice the beach is right now. Look at the low tide.
Oh, yeah.
I'm enjoying life. You know, just another beautiful day like we have every day here in San Diego. So
right down the
next
street
time
from
you're
Torrey
out here,
Pines.
Weirzy, that's it. Torrey Pines is actually right there.
Right there. Yep.
Right there.
No
I live
way.
about a mile from it.
I'm disappointed you got your shirt on though, JR. What's going on? I wanted to see that bod. You're not turning into a bag of milk. I know that.
I don't see as many dumbbells as you do, Nashy. No way. So, hey, as long as I fit in my 36 pant, I'm happy. So I'm okay.
You're not supporting the G-string Speedo there. There's a lot of people checking you out right now.
I don't know about that, but if that's what it takes to get the attention, I'll grab my Speedo. That's okay.
Oh, but hey, tell us about the hat. You played with Tony Amante there, didn't you?
Yeah, so I was actually up in Canada, believe it or not, last week, and there's a guy at this event that I was at whose daughter goes to my high school. He gave me this hat, a Thayer hat. I'm like, what are the chances of getting a Thayer hat when I'm up in Ontario, Canada? So I was just so blown away. And Tony Amante and I were teammates. We were line mates at Thayer for 3 years and destroyed everybody in high school, in prep school. But it was really weird. Tony and I played together in Bantams. We played together in high school. We played together in Chicago and Philly. So not too many.
Cool.
Not too many hockey teammates get to do what Tony Amante and I got to do. You know, it was and you were there with Tony, weren't you, Nashy? Did you get to know Tony at all?
No, I never did. No? It's so sad. I mean, these guys are legends, right? I mean, I wish I would have played with you, buddy, more than anyone.
He was one of the best. Oh, thanks, buddy. Well, listen, we have a bond forever anyway, regardless if we played together, buddy. So who knows? We'll have a lot of fun regardless.
I love it. I love it. When
awesome.
are you coming to Utah, buddy? When are you coming to check this Delta Center out? This place absolutely rocks. Yeah. We'd love to have you here, dude.
I will be there on March 12th. The same teams will be going at it on March 12th. I will be there. I will be celebrating both of my teams. This will be the first time that I see the Mammoth in person since they've moved from Arizona. Yep. I'm so excited to get there. So if you need anything from me at the game while I'm there, March 12th, I'll be there.
Oh, I love it.
That's great.
Hey, tell me about Bedard. Was it a mistake keeping him off the Canadian roster?
You know, I think he definitely deserved to be on the roster. The way that he played this year, the way that he's kind of taken that next level step of becoming one of the superstars of the league. You know, that injury couldn't have come at a worse time. And it's kind of hard when you have the amount of players that you had for Canada that you could choose from and have a guy that hadn't played for 2 months going into the Olympics. So he's going to have a lot of opportunities to play. I mean, you talk about 7 or 8 other guys. I don't think I would have loved to seen him on the team. If he didn't get hurt, I think for sure he would have been on that team. But I think it was just unfortunate. And I think he's going to get better and better. And, you know, he's a quality kid. He's got to get a little stronger, a little bigger, but boy, can this kid play, can this kid shoot, and he's a lot of fun to watch. He's going to make a lot of Olympic teams in his day.
You played for the Sharks as well, and I mean, Celebrini, absolutely. I don't tune into Sharks games. I'm sorry, I just don't. But this Celebrini, I can tell you, I'm going to start.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to start watching too.
He blew the doors off of me. I was like, this kid's insane.
This kid, I think he's been the best entry player into the league since McDavid.
Wow.
To be totally honest with you. McKinnon was great, yes. A couple other players that were dominant, but Celebrini is the best player to enter the National Hockey League since McDavid. And I know that's saying a lot, but this kid is, what he was able to do, as in his second year being a top 5, top 10 scoring, and then going into the Olympics and probably had an opportunity to win the MVP of the Olympics, playing in line with McKinnon, McDavid. You're kidding me? What a treat. But again, the trust that John Cooper gave to Celebrini. He's probably one of the best two-way players in the game, and for a guy so young, he is way beyond his years of maturity. So I see the Hawks go up 1-0.
Yeah.
Is it 1-0?
Another power play.
Is that Bertuzzi again?
Yeah.
Is that Bertuzzi again getting in front?
No, it was, I don't know who it was.
Let's see.
Bertuzzi, yeah. Pickpocket Bertuzzi. Yeah. I love that kid. Absolutely love him. You need those type of players. He's gritty, skilled, all the things, right?
So he's the only guy that Chicago really has that gets to the front of the net on time and gets there with fierce passion, right? And that's why he's scoring all these goals, because he goes to those high traffic areas. And if the Hawks had a few more of those guys, I think they'd win a couple more games. But he doesn't make it look pretty, but he's effective, right? Bertuzzi, it's pretty fun to watch.
Yep.
JR, again, this is your second time on the NASHCAST. I can't believe it. I'm sitting next to one of my idols. Like, I idolized Mike Weir, and now he's sitting right next to me. This is incredible. You've been on the show twice. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, thank you so much. I'll let you get back to your walk, but do you remember the first time we had you on? You're a little teary-eyed. We absolutely loved it. This show, I am so grateful and thankful because of this. Guys I get to talk to all the time.
Well, listen, we wouldn't do it if you weren't a great guy, buddy. You're one of the true class guys of the league. And obviously, you talk about me being a personality. Holy smoke, I think you're right. You're even right with me with personalities. And everybody loves you, Nashky. And yes, we love you, Weirzy. Weirzy, we love you. You guys, thank you for giving us a gold medal for one time in 46 years. I appreciate it. And next time, Weirzy, when you're in San Diego, you better look me up to play. We'll go play Torrey Pines or play Mike Weir.
For sure.
And you got to give me two aside. You got to give me two aside because I need to get in your pocket. Okay.
Okay. Deal.
I love
Done
it.
deal. Done deal.
Thanks,
Awesome.
JR.
I think I could take you two aside, Weirzy.
Okay.
I think I could take you
I love
two
it.
aside,
Let's do it.
Weirzy. I'm telling you, I think I could do it.
Let's do
I
it.
think I could do it. We'll try.
I love it.
He's a nice, polite guy, but he's fired up right now.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
He's fired up right now.
I'm filing it back there for next time I see you.
You're going to bend him over. I love it.
Hey, listen.
All right, thanks,
Thanks,
JR.
Thanks,
Love you, buddy.
There you have it. Jeremy Roenick. He did not disappoint. Came on last minute, and thank you, JR. First, Pat Maroon, 3-time Stanley Cup champion, 3 cups in a row. St. Louis, the Tampa Bay Lightning. He had to bail on us. So, what do good teammates do, Foltz? They jump in when the chips are down, little adversity. He steps up, and that was Jeremy Roenick on the beach in San Diego. I'm not a huge California guy, but man, did that look beautiful. My goodness, could I see myself on that beach in the Speedo? But the water needs to be way, way warmer, Foltz.
Look, I'm a Lake Michigan guy. No salt, no sharks. It's perfect for me. But there's something different about the California sunshine. There's something different about the Pacific. I don't know what it is, but I'll stick to my inland lakes for now, I guess.
Yeah, and your water wings, okay? Because I know how you swim like a rock. So
I'm the guy wearing like a swim shirt.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. The big Gilligan's hat too. You can't get too much sun on that complexion of yours. That white complexion. You look like a China doll. You're like Nicole Kidman. You're the male version of You're the male version of Nicole Kidman.
Hey, she's a movie star, and she's at every AMC theater doing her little before every AMC movie, she's doing like the PSA or something like that. So if that's my lot in life, it's not all that bad.
Oh, you got that right. You got that right. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I just got off the mountain with Paul Bissonnette. We were chopping it up, and if you haven't heard, and you probably haven't because we haven't announced it, but March 26th, he's coming down. He's going to be in Salt Lake. He's going to be in the Delta studio, and he's going to be on the NASHCAST. Myself, Bob Heathouse, Paul Bissonnette, and myself, former play-by-play guy on the radio that kind of gave us our start in broadcasting, right? So he never got his due. He never got his send-off. Bob Heathouse, that is. It just kind of ended sadly for him. This guy should be in the Hall of Fame. Could be in the Hall of Fame. Could have a press row named after him. But it never happened for him, sadly. But he is so pumped to come down, shake some hands of, a lot of former players that he had real tight relationships with, just to see the entire environment, right? It's one thing, Fultz, as we know, to watch on TV. It's another thing to be in the Delta Center and hearing and feeling the vibe, right, of a team that is ready for the playoffs. So Paul Bissonnette, again, he's going to be in studio. He's going to spend a couple periods there. We're going to have, I believe, Keith Yandel. I think we're having Whit on the show as well. So we're going to collaborate. We're going to we're going to zip it around between podcasts, Spittin' Chicklets, the NASHCAST. And then I think Biss is going to go hang out with Ryan Smith down on the glass in the suite, throw some smiles around, do some social media, and really get the vibe for this Utah Mammoth. Yeah. Love it.
The Spittin' Chicklets crew. That's gonna be fantastic. I wonder if Biz. There's no chance he does, but I wonder if Biz would remember the 10 minutes he called a game with me once upon a time in the ECHL when he had just been partying with our fans for 2 hours and then comes up to the press box and I'm like, oh my, am I about to be fired right here? And it turned out to be the greatest thing ever.
He's a pro, right? I mean, give him all the beers you want. He still knows how to get it done. But yeah, you got to ask him about it when he's in town. He's so excited to come up and be a part of the show. He's such a good friend, right? Always helping out. He wants to see me have success. I love seeing all the success that he's had in his career on TNT. He's on Amazon. The guy is literally, you can't turn on the TV or a podcast without hearing from Paul Bissonnette. So cannot wait, Fultz.
Hockey worlds collide in Salt Lake City. Can't wait for that. Tyson, good show. Great hearing from JR. Oh, go ahead.
One last thing. Fans, if you're listening out there, we talked on the mountain during our hike. His shirt was off. He's got the hairiest chest I've ever seen. We needed a weed whacker to trim that thing down. I think his ass is probably the same amount of hair. So button on a fur coat. But anyway, we talked a lot about what we could do. We're trying to grow the pod. We're trying to grow our Instagram and our socials. And if I don't get the 5,000 fans, there has to be some repercussion. So that's what we're trying to figure out, Fultz. Maybe it's an outfit I have to wear. Maybe it's a Tusky or a pie in the face on the show. But for the fans that are watching and listening out there, give us some ideas. What's the booby prize? If I don't hit 5,000 followers by the time March 26th hits, what do I got to do? Am I wearing a Speedo with Tusky on the front for a segment?
Is this your personal Twitter account or Instagram account, or is this the NASHCAST official?
NASHCAST official, baby, on Instagram. That's the one we're growing, big boy. So we need some ideas. So if you're watching, give us your thoughts. Tell us what you want to see.
I'd love to see you try to maybe you don't know Mount Olympus. Mount Olympus is right next to Salt Lake City. I'd love to see you do the 6-hour Mount Olympus hike in a Tusky outfit.
There you go.
You might die.
You're on to something. And why are you smiling?
I'm smiling.
You and my wife both. I got a new insurance policy before I do that hike. I'm sure.
I didn't realize how long it was when I tried to hike it once. I thought I'll just go for a couple hour hike here, and it's pretty arduous. And a guy on the trail is yeah, you're not gonna make it. I'm a pretty athletic guy. I think I'll be fine. He's nah, it's too hot. You don't have any
He looked
water.
you up and down. He's no chance. No chance, dude.
He's you're from the Midwest. You're not used to you're not used to this elevation. You have no chance. So all right, we'll figure something out. Figure something out. Can't wait.
All right, buddy. Well, thanks as always, Fultz. Knock it out of the park tonight. I know you're in Chicago as we speak. Bring home another W, would you? And keep this road trip humming. So it's our socials, right? NASHCAST Official on YouTube, NASHCAST Official on Instagram, Spotify, Apple, TikTok too, folks. We finally got TikTok, the animal that is TikTok. NASHCAST Official, baby. Let's go. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will see you next time.